Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing Buddhism. First, I want to go over some of the key terms. Meditation is the practice of calming or clearing the mind, often by focusing on a single thought or object. Buddhists want to clear the mind. That's why they practice meditation. They look within themselves for the truth and the understanding of the teachings of Buddha. So to fully be able to do that, they have to clear the mind of everything else. So their sole focus is on the teachings of Buddha, and they can get the truth and the understanding that they desire. Nirvana is a state of blissful peace without suffering or desire. It is the goal of Buddhists. Nirvana literally means blowing out. And if you think of a candle, Nirvana is the blowing out of human desire. It's that state of peace where you don't have to suffer and you don't have desire. You blow it out. Nirvana. Enlightenment is a state of perfect wisdom sought by Buddhists. So they want to reach enlightenment in their life. And monastery is a secluded religious community. And for Buddhists, that is where monks go to pray and to meditate and to just be all consumed by the teachings of Buddha. They can get away from everyone and everything else. Christians also have monasteries for people called monks as well. So monasteries is just a secluded religious community away from all people, all things, all problems. So who is the founder of Buddhism? If you remember from the reading passage yesterday, the founder is Siddhartha Gautama, and he became known as Buddha after reaching enlightenment. Remember, he was the Prince of India, and as a young boy, his future was foretold, that he was either going to be the Emperor of India or he was going to be a very holy man, very religious man. His father wanted him to be the Emperor of India, so throughout his childhood, Gautama's childhood, his father showered him with luxuries. And it wasn't until at the age of 29, that he left the palace and he saw a sick man, an old man, and a dying man, that he realized the suffering of people and that he too would experience that suffering. And then he left the palace again and saw a monk, and he learned from this monk, and that's when he went to search for enlightenment, purpose in life, understanding of life. He actually almost starved himself because he refused to eat as he was searching for this understanding, this enlightenment. And when he reached that point, he became known as Buddha, or the Enlightened One. So what do you call followers of Buddhism? It is Buddhist. So what is the place of worship for Buddhism? There they visit temples called stupas. And they also, this is a shrine. A shrine is set up in the home as a place of worship. And so this one is actually in the home. And so many Buddhists have shrines in their home. They don't necessarily have to leave to a temple to practice their religion. They can do it within the home. So, geographic origins of Buddhism. The continent was Asia, and the country is India. And as you can see, here's India, and it's spread out from there into China, Japan, Vietnam, and all around Asia. There is roughly 500 million Buddhists today that are practicing, and the largest population is in China. So what is their sacred writing? The sacred writing of Buddhism is known as Tripitaka. And Tripitaka means 3 baskets. And so what happened is after the death of Buddha, his followers went around collecting his sayings, his teachings called sutras, and they collected them into baskets, and it ended up being 3 baskets. So Tripitaka means 3 baskets, and if you look, they were written in the original language of Buddha, or very close to the original language of Buddha, which is ancient Indian. So what are the teachings and the beliefs of Buddhism? So the first one is that there are 3 universal truths in life. And that leads to the 4 noble truths, which are human life has a lot of suffering. The cause of suffering is greed. So everyone suffers. People suffer because of greed. The third truth is that there is an end to the suffering. And the fourth one is to end suffering, you have to find and follow the middle way through the Eightfold Path. So the 4 noble truths again. Human life has a lot of suffering. The cause of suffering is greed. There is an end to suffering, and the way to end suffering is through following the middle way. And if you look, the middle way, this illustration, I love this illustration because it shows what the middle way is. This is the way to nirvana. So you see how it's like the yellow brick road. It's where you want to go. It's where Buddhists want to go. So they're going to nirvana, to that enlightenment stage of life. And so in this middle way, you see all these people, these two, this man and woman, they're eating everything they want. And so if you want to be on the middle way, you cannot live a life of luxury and giving into every desire. Also not on the middle way is this guy, this real skinny guy. You can actually see his bones. And this is based, and this idea is that you can be too religious. You can have too much fasting. You can have too much hardship in life. And if you're on that side, then you are also not part of the middle way. The middle way is the middle ground. Okay, so you don't want to live on the extremes, is what Buddha taught. You want to find that middle ground, that middle way. And how do you find that middle way? By following the Eightfold Path. And here is the symbol of Buddhism. And remember, I told you each spoke on the wheel represents one of the eightfold. So you have right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation or concentration. So if you live this life, then you will find the middle way. Also, a key teaching of Buddhism, no god or gods in this religion. Buddha is only a teacher. He made it known that he is not a god. He is just a teacher delivering this way of life to help others. He did not want to be worshipped during his lifetime. So what are their days of celebration? So they have a celebration called Wesak, and that is a celebration of Buddha's birth, and it's also known as Buddha Day. Buddha Day. So this is a celebration of Buddha's enlightenment and death. They decorate statues of Buddha on this day. They also sometimes shoot fireworks and have other celebrations. And then the second day of celebration is called Vasa. And it is a time to meditate and study during the monsoon season. So in India, they have and we'll talk about this next week, they have a season where it rains a lot and they can't really do much during that time. It's the monsoon season. And so Buddhists use this time to meditate and study. So these are the days of celebration for Buddhism. So here are the notes. Now you can complete the comparison chart, the column for Buddhism. You can fill it out. And so we have Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and now Buddhism done on that chart. If you have any questions, please let me know. And you can move on to your next assignment now.